you got into finances here. You got into finances. And I want to put, if not you personally, Brian, our detectives out there, our detectives in the cult of Cornette they track down Norman Dooley. They come up with the answers to questions that we pose and postulate here on the program. So now I'm putting this out there. I saw this on Twitter. I didn't have all the couldn't see all the documentation and didn't have time to chase down the rabbit hole. But apparently, remember when it was going around back in April when Tony Khan announced that he had bought Ring of Honor or bought their assets or bought the tape library? However the paperwork has been done. There's been people talking about the paperwork's not all done yet. There's certain things up in the air. But remember, a lot of people were trying to put out the story that Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor for $40 million. Do you remember that?
I remember seeing that, but I thought it was ridiculous.
Well, yes, and we said as much. And a bunch of people are still on Twitter, whatever, whining, they don't know what was going on. They weren't there. They weren't involved in it. No, we just know. The same way as if you're a goddamn airplane pilot and you have 30 years experience flying Delta 747s and you see some fucking 4-year-old guy with a goddamn lunchbox get in the pilot's seat, you know he probably ain't licensed to fly a plane. They didn't pay $40 million for Ring of Honor. We said, even Tony, I said at the time, even Tony could not be taken that advantage of about wrestling. Well, apparently, Sinclair Broadcast Group, which was the parent company, as we know, of Ring of Honor, filed one of their financial disclosures, and the thing I don't know is I don't know what the period was this covered, whether it was for a quarter, which may very well be, since April, May, June would have been a quarter, or whether it's for the fiscal year, which would be 12 months, or whatever the fuck it was. But they reported in one of their financial disclosures under the sale of assets. During that period of time, the report covered, it was, I believe, the exact amount was $9.6 million. It was under $10 million, and that didn't mean that was Ring of Honor. That meant that was any sale of any asset that they made during the period of time that the report covered. So that could have been, material goods, of equipment, real estate, whatever they owned. But we know then by that there's no way that the price of Ring of Honor was more than $9.6 million, which I think still be quite high for it if it was indeed that much, but it wasn't $40 million. And again, I don't know why people think that when we say something like that and scoff at something, because it's so blatantly out of line and ridiculous with what would ever really happen in the real world, and they go, they just don't know. No, we do know. I was around the last time that company was sold. And I've seen a lot of other companies and or tape libraries and or things sold. And I'm sorry, but even though that Time Warner was a motivated seller 20 years ago, there's no way that Tony Khan paid 20 times more for Ring of Honor's tape library than Vince did 20 years ago for the entirety of WCW. So that apparently will. But anyway, if anybody wants to chase this down further out there that's listening and send us in a report on what was that financial report? Was it for a year or a quarter? And do we have any other details to be found in? Because a lot of people they want to read the wrestling websites and they want to hear what somebody that talked to Tony at lunchtime thinks about things. But the way to find out facts now in this day and age of corporate ownership is to go to the parent company's filings and dissertations, because they, not being in the wrestling business, don't traditionally lie out their asses as badly on things like that because they're afraid of getting chastised for it. But Brian, you know, being a owner of multiple companies, you know that as well as anybody.
The $40 million didn't make any sense. Even if Tony was a billionaire, as loaded on drugs as people want to say he is, he wouldn't do that. It made no sense.
No.
And he knew who he was bidding against. And I'm not saying WWE wouldn't go crazy with a bid for the right thing, but I don't think this was the thing. So you can kind of figure out how high you think they would go. And again, nothing near 40 million, no.
Yeah. I mean, again, that was like the only person that's really interested in this thing. WWE wanted the tape library. If they wanted anything, that was it. They weren't going to revive the promotion. They weren't going to, market merchandise or whatever. They just wanted to get the tapes. And so if it was worth a couple $1 million or whatever to them, would Tony, well, I want to make sure I get it. So they're bidding $3 million and I'll bid $40 million. Who else was involved? Nobody. So the WWE was not as motivated by their love of the game as Tony was, and that was the only difference. I would imagine the offers weren't too far apart.
Tony made a good offer. It was more than WWE's. It was for millions. Under 10 million. We'll find out probably more about the details soon, but as they say in WWE, it was just blowjob money.
Well, there you go, because they got bigger fish to fry up there. I mean, for heaven's sake, they can't be spending millions and millions of dollars on anything related to the business they're in when they can be paying women that have been penetrated in some fashion to go away. But, that's the thing, Brian. I am shocked and amazed at something else that I've heard over the last week or two. I don't know if you're aware of this, but did you know that there are actually people out there, not only in the United States today, but in the world, that look up things on their computer that they are reticent to admit to other people? Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I just had to do it earlier with this anime dating simulation video game controversy.
Well, see, that was business. We were doing that in a completely legitimate fashion with good intentions and no malevolent forethought. And I'm sure that's the way that most people do these things. But still, apparently, your internet service provider can still see every single website that you visit and have ever visited. And that might be awkward. I mean, for example, you could be, well, no, seriously, it's no laughing matter. Is it not funny to me, motherfucker, as Beto said? Because here's the thing. You could be minding your own business, being a fine, upstanding citizen, but maybe in the evening hours, after dinner, before you tuck your head down to sleep at night, maybe you're engaging in a little international espionage. Maybe you're secretly the leader of a black market uranium ring. Maybe you're researching plans to build the nuclear submarines. Or possibly you're just watching Kenny Olivier's matches with sex toys. Regardless, there could be some things, even if it's in the line of duty like we just did, even if it's for business with excellent intentions, there could be some things that you don't want people to know. And apparently now this has become a thing that so many people are worried about this, that there is now a service that you can go to where you can muck up everybody's attempts to try to keep an eye on you, especially those internet service providers. They're in your walls. The internet service providers.
They are not in your walls.
No, we established, you even concurred with me.
We did not establish that. No, we did not.
All right, Brian, who provides your internet service?
I don't know if I want to commit that answer to tape here.
Okay, the company that provides your internet service.
Okay.
Okay, you got a computer there on your desk, right?
I have a few.
Okay, you got a few, and there's a cord from the back of the computer plugging into your wall, right?
There are cords for each computer that plug into the outlet in the wall to give them electricity, correct?
Yes. And then there's another plug that plugs in and runs a wire to your internet service provider to provide your internet. And where does it go?
It goes
into the wall.
Well,
and that's where your internet service provider, they're in your walls, ladies and gentlemen. They're keeping an eye on you. They're keeping an eye on everything that you do.
You're going to scare someone.
And you should be scared. You should be completely intimidated because these internet service providers, not like they're the FBI. It's not like they have a duty-bound legal obligation to take care of this information. No, they can spread your information willy-nilly across anywhere they want to spread it unless you take action. And it doesn't matter who your internet service provider is, because in the United States, they can legally sell your information to advertising companies. So, for example, you're the leader of a black market uranium ring, you're going to get spammed.
Don't use that as an example. Come on.
Well, it's just if something could happen to anybody. You're going to get spammed with dozens of emails trying to sell you low-cost uranium holders. Because, it's hard to find something to keep that shit in. It's just like when the government 20 years ago, they invented a universal solvent that will, on contact, instantly dissolve any material. But they couldn't market it because they couldn't figure out anything to keep it in. But anyway, so these people at ExpressVPN, what they do is they reroute your internet connection through their secure servers, so your ISP can't see the sites you visit. So let's say, for example, that you want to order Dumbo Does It Donkey Style, or Claudia Does Cleveland. And it'll scramble. It'll scramble that where they'll think you're going is to a children's charity to give money to innocent, deformed children.
No.
That were victimized by napalm in Korea.
That's not how it works, so don't promise that.
That's what it'll show that up right there.
No, it'll show nothing. It will show nothing, not a fake visit to a website
right.
It'll
just disappear. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to ExpressVPN right now, they can make your ass disappear. If you've got people looking for you and they're getting a little too close, you go to ExpressVPN, poof, you're gone. They keep all your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption that is available. This encryption is so strong, by the time they finish with your data, there's not a soul on earth that's going to know what the fuck it says. And most of the time, you will not even realize that you have ExpressVPN on because it runs seamlessly in the background. All you got to do is tap one button and you're protected. And the only way you're ever going to know that's even running is every once in a while when the government tries to keep an eye on what you're doing and checks in daily as they do, then instantly a burst of fire will come out of the back of the computer indicating that ExpressVPN has incinerated the threat to your privacy.
That's not how it works.
That's right. Well, I see it.
You can't say that. It's not how it works. You can't promise people these things about fire.
I threw half a Sprite on it and it was fine. But ExpressVPN will keep all your devices, your phones, your computers, your smart TVs, your plug-in vibrators, all of them will be protected so nobody knows where you're going, what you're doing, what you're saying, who you're talking to, or what you're planning, most importantly. You can protect your very legal but highly suspicious online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by Business Insider. Visit my exclusive link. See, they're keeping track of me, though. Now, here's the thing. Since I'm a customer and I'm also the guy that's advertising this, I have an exclusive link at a company that will make all of your links disguised so nobody can tell the links that you go to, but I'm telling you to go to this link. We're caught in, what is that, a vortex or a whirlpool? What is that we're caught in? We're caught in a loop.
I don't know what you're caught in. I feel like I'm caught in something completely different.
Well, that's because the ExpressVPN people have changed it to disguise it, so we don't know what we're doing.
They changed what? What have they changed?
They've changed everything. It'll never be the same again, folks. Visit my exclusive link on this thing, expressvpn.com/JCE, and you'll get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. What is a 1-year package? I don't know, because they've disguised it and changed it. It's not what it appeared to be. I thought I knew where to go for it, but suddenly it wasn't there anymore, and they sent me to Iceland.
That's
But
not
anyway,
how it works at all.
if you want to be relocated to some place where nobody knows where you are and they can't tell what you're doing, go to expressvpn.com/JCE and get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. And let us know if it works out for you, because we won't know where to find you, because you're going to be gone. Gone, gone, gone. expressvpn.com/JCE. Where'd you go, Brian?